female psychology, what women really want. If you're a man and you want to find the right girlfriend or a wife, you have to understand the following concepts. If you don't, you will stay alone, you'll stay single, or you'll keep wasting your time with the wrong people. You are probably somebody who's kind and caring and who takes people serious. The problem with taking people serious, it can sometimes lead to you having an outside focused realm of validation and approval. In other words, you're waiting for other people's signals to feel good about yourself, which is in essence a fantastic idea because it makes you a good human being. Because if you didn't pay any attention whatsoever to how people around you react to you, you would not be a good and functioning member of society. So it's great. The problem is if it's taken to an extreme, the way it's happening right now in your dating and your relationship life, a woman can say one sentence and you will immediately feel fear, a sense of loss. You'll question your own sense of identity as a man. I've had a situation with a client of mine. He's a consultant in New York. Be careful, let's walk over here a little bit more. And he had a situation with his girlfriend where she said one little thing. And he sent me and my mentor, because we coach together, a little message. And he goes, "Oh, fuck." And we're going, "What's going on? Everything's fine." But there was a little bit of unease, a little bit of tension. One question that wasn't perfectly harmonious and validating of their existing relationship. And he immediately felt a fear of loss and scarcity, in essence. And then obviously we were able to help him. I helped him with the technicality of the situation. Walk around, be careful. But also, I gave him the way more important lesson, which was being grounded in your own sense of identity as a man and being validated and not freaking out just because somebody says one thing. Not just women, but human beings. We as human beings say a lot when the day is long. That's what we say in Germany. We talk a lot, but that doesn't mean we have to take every single sentence so serious. You got to take the person serious. You got to be respectful and calibrated and make sure she's comfortable at all times. But just because somebody says one thing, that shouldn't produce a state of stress and fear and a lack of certainty, in other words, confidence within yourself. You have to validate yourself. You have to be grounded in your own convictions. And yes, I'm fully aware that it's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? Because if you're fully 100% validated by your own convictions, regardless, disregarding of what's happening in objective reality, not taking the world's feedback and data points into consideration, then you're a psychopath. Then you won't treat people well. Now, if you're completely reactive and emotionally pinging off of objective reality, in other words, her, then you also won't be able to present a sense of certainty and you won't come across as a man. You'll be weak and nobody will want to be around you. Because what are you if you don't have convictions, if you don't have a sense of strength in your belief? Or your beliefs rather. So you need to find what the right balance is between being self-validating and grounded in your convictions and still taking feedback into consideration. Now, up until this point, it's an important concept, but I want to make it a lot more practical for you so you can actually use it. Because you might say, "David, how do I know whether I am or not?" Most likely, if you're watching this video, you have to be more self-validating and you're too emotionally reactive to other people and to women. How do I know that? Well, I've coached clients from almost 40 countries from all around the world, hundreds of them, and I've been able to help them find the right girlfriend or wife, get an amazing social life, become a lot more confident and happy in their lives. So I know the types of people who are watching these videos. So you probably fall into that category. That's how I know that. Now, when it comes to finding that balance, just understand that in the early dating stages, if you have to choose between being a little bit more self-reflective and a little bit over-the-top confident, choose being over-the-top confident. She loves it. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not making sure she isn't comfortable and that she's not having a good time, obviously you want to make sure she is that at all times. But if you can't be confident, if you can't choose a degree of self-validation and approval, she will never in a million years feel attracted to you. Women might say they want a guy who's nice and kind, and they do. You are supposed to be nice and kind. Fernanda, my fiance, I'm super nice and kind. I say thank you a million times in a day. I say please a million times in a day. I tell her I love you a ton. But that's 5.5, almost 6 years into a relationship. You still got to be nice and kind even in the beginning. But being a little bit playfully confident is extremely attractive to women. They love it. If it's coupled with kindness. It's not, am I kind or masculine? No, you want to be maturely masculine. It's extremely important. But coming back to what we were talking about in the beginning, somebody might say something. For example, the example with my client, where his girlfriend texted him, we have to talk about something. And he goes, ah! He starts freaking out. Relax. This is a great guy. He works for an amazing company, makes bank, super smart, and still freaks out because he's placed so much hope in her. And so we did a lot of coaching around that, and he is in a much better space right now, but it is a new habit. It's a new pattern that needs to be established. The good news is that isn't him. That isn't you. You're not somebody who's fearful. It's just a pattern of questioning yourself the second somebody says something that doesn't match your expectations. Being able to create certainty from within, regardless of what's happening on the outside, regardless of what she might say, is one of the most important skills. So you have to, if in doubt, remain calm and grounded. And you can entertain a thought without immediately accepting it. The mark of an educated mind is the ability to entertain a thought without accepting it. So you want to be able to entertain a thought and intellectually look at it without allowing the thought of hers to produce a lack of emotional certainty within you. I'm able to entertain all kinds of ideas and look at it and say, huh, interesting point of view. And then you have maybe a little bit of a debate. Now, don't let the first date turn into a debate. That's really not the aim of the game. That's not what's supposed to happen. It's not a logical argument. Let's cross here. But you do want to be able to have a little bit of back and forth, entertain whatever she's saying and take it serious and make sure she's comfortable, but without allowing it to produce a lack of certainty and fear and anxiety and stress within you. Because that's primal. Women feel that. Let me ask you something. If you had to rate your levels of confidence on a scale of 1 to 10, when you're talking to a lady you're really excited about, what would you say? A 5, a 6, a 7? Okay, what would you say? So let's say it's a 6 or even a 7, maybe a 4. The difference between that and a 9.9 is a world of difference. Women feel it. If you're not super confident, as in really confident, and confidence can manifest itself in very quiet ways, it'll be very difficult for her, let's walk around this way, to feel a true and lasting sense of attraction for you. It's just impossible. How can you do that? You validate your own spoken word. Instead of saying, oh, she's beautiful, I hope she likes me, you simply say, oh, she's beautiful, I hope I like her. Oh, she's so attractive. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go find out if we're compatible. That's an entirely different frame. It's a frame of curiosity. It's a frame of let's see what happens. It's a frame of abundance, ultimately. You have to commit and recommit to abundance. That is a skill set. Committing and recommitting to abundance. Because you can only have the type of woman you're willing to lose. If you live in a sense of fear of loss, and you might not even call it that, it may just manifest itself in that little bit of nervousness that you're experiencing when you're on a date or during the initial interaction, during the approach, even in an online dating conversation. You will repel the right women. The right women want a man who doesn't care whether it works out or not. You want her, but you don't need her. I want you, but I don't need you. And that manifests itself in subcommunication. So if she says something, if anybody says anything, Do you ping off of them for emotional certainty, or do you learn to create that from within? There's a million tools to do that, but you have to make a decision to no longer... Careful. Woo, almost died. To no longer, that was dangerous. He could have pinged, couldn't he? Little bit of ping, ping, cling, cling. Anyway, you have to refuse to depend on cyclists that are driving by for your physical well-being. Now, jokes aside, you have to refuse to ping off of the external environment for a sense of confidence and calm. Now, for example, in this situation, do I feel my adrenaline going up right now? Yeah, because he goes, huh, you could have said something. Anger. Do I feel my adrenaline? Of course. Now, do I let that dictate my emotional reality over the hours to come? No. How do you create an empowering emotional state within yourself? I have a video on this YouTube channel called Inner Game Mastery. It's 53 minutes, I believe. Inner Game Mastery, where I talk about that in detail. So you go, look it up, Inner Game Mastery. I give you a lot of strategies. Don't want to go into that today because there's a couple of other things that I want to talk about. There are different mental models that you can assume that are helpful to create empowering mental and emotional states. One of them is that of archetypes. There are 4 main archetypes: the king, the warrior, the magician, the lover. If we start with the warrior, if you're a man who's doing well in his career or your business, then you already developed a habit of discipline, of getting things done, of fighting through disappointment, of setting a goal, of achieving it. We call it long breath, langer Atem in Germany. You are persistent, you're consistent. There's an obstacle, you crush it, and you keep going. That is what you do. You've trained yourself to be able to do that very, very successfully. That is the warrior. And a lot of men, frankly, lack that. A lot of men lack the ability to create certainty from within and to keep going, keep working, and to just make something happen. You've been able to do that in at least one area of your life, and you should be extremely proud of that. You set goals in your career or your business or your health or whatever area, and you've achieved it. And there were obstacles and you overcame them. And you have learned to discipline your disappointment in those areas. Doesn't mean you don't feel it, but you didn't let it get you down. That is the warrior. It's the absolute base. And when it comes to, going this way here, when it comes to achieving dating and relationship success, it's the same thing. Ultimately, you set a goal and you say, I want to achieve this relationship. That's my outcome. I want to find somebody for the long term. I want to settle down. I want to find the right woman that I can build a family with, or at least settle down with for the rest of my life. Cool. Now, having the warrior type of energy is good in terms of discipline and not allowing yourself to get bogged down if you get rejected, for example. But overall, it's not the most effective frame to come from. Because if you bring that level of intensity or tension to the date, she'll get turned off. You'll come across as extremely weird. Thank God there's a second archetype called the magician. The magician is able to produce the exact same results the warrior is able to produce with a lot less effort. Effortless. He's able to snap his fingers like Dumbledore or Gandalf and produce the exact same results the warrior is able to produce. Now, the thing is, and I had a conversation with a client of mine, he works in private equity in London, and he was chasing after a lot of women who aren't right for him. And then we did a little bit of deep work, deep coaching work, and it turns out that he has the belief that he can almost only, this way and then around, he can almost only be proud of him when he's earned it and when there was a chase. The chase makes it difficult. The chase makes it hard. And when we work hard for it, if we're achievers as men, then we oftentimes don't even value ourselves for the results we've been able to produce. Yeah, in part we do that, but also for how much we've struggled to achieve them. The more we struggle, the more we can feel proud of it. Problem is, that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy where if we don't struggle, we don't even allow ourselves to achieve the results, completely neglecting the fact that sometimes it's very easy to grow. Sometimes it's very easy to achieve. We always say, no pain, no gain. Nonsense. Sometimes gain and growth requires pain. Sometimes it really doesn't. Sometimes it's very easy and effortless. And so what I did with him is we helped him change that belief. First of all, awareness alone is curative. Even just understanding what's driving you. And that's why things like coaching are so powerful, because you don't even know what's stopping you. Because 80% of success in anything is mindset. Yeah, there's tactics and strategies that we teach in my coaching program that are going to blow your mind when it comes to getting quality dates through dating apps, Instagram, in-person approaches, creating attraction. It's been crafted to perfection over the years, not going to lie. So apply for a free initial consultation. If you're a man with a successful career or your own business, and you want to find the right girlfriend or wife, absolutely apply for a free initial consultation right now with the link underneath this video. Would love to talk to you. Would love to be able to help you. That's why it's so powerful. But what the other things we talked to him about was switching from warrior to magician. And the magician says, it's easy. I'm allowing. I'm receiving. I don't have to fight to achieve a certain result. Yes, that is only true for men who have developed a base of a warrior. Because if as a man you have not developed the base of a warrior and you'll need things to be easy, you will fail in life. True, you need to develop grit, be that in the gym or your career or your business, that discipline, that willpower, that has to be your base. Because as James Clear says in his book, The Power of Habit, it is not our goals that determine how high we rise. Yes, that's true. But ultimately, it's our habits that determine how low we fall. It's our systems that, go over here, that determine how low we fall when shit ultimately hits the fan. So the warrior is the base. But if we stay there, it'll wear us out. Tony Robbins says, push is going to wear you out. Pull will ultimately drive you forward. And it is everlasting motivation. And sensing that there is a time in your life to switch into the magician and allowing things to be easy is very important and powerful. And there's different ways to activate the magician, if you will, to turn on the mental and emotional state of ease. One of them is, if it was easy, what would I do? If it was lighter, what would I do? If it was super easy to get quality dates with the women that I actually really like, physically, intellectually, personality, values-wise, if it was easy to create attraction, if it was easy to sustain a sense of connection with her over months or even years to come, how would I act? What would it be like? And without demanding an answer from your prefrontal cortex, just allowing the question to resonate in your unconscious mind, watch how your body changes. If it was easy, ask yourself this question right now. If you're an achiever, you'll love this. If you ever want to go from activity and action to a sense of relaxation and rest, you just ask yourself, what if there was no problem to solve? What if right now there was no problem to solve? How does that feel? Different, right? Isn't that beautiful? You can turn that on. And simply allowing that you have the mental and emotional state, the inner archetype of the magician available to yourself, that alone can make life so much more enjoyable. Because yes, we want to have times where we grind and that's amazing. But remember, you're dealing with human beings. In business, you can be frustrated and hammering into the CRM or coding or engineering or whatever it is that you happen to be into, jiu-jitsu, rock climbing, yoga. If it's an activity, if it's a system, you can be grumpy and still get it done. You can be frustrated and still get it done. You can't be grumpy and frustrated and tense and effective on your dates. Because again, that's a sense of reactivity. That's not necessarily a sense of reactivity to her, but to the world. Oh, the world has to be perfect for me to be able to feel a sense of peace or confidence. If the world needs to be perfect for you to feel at peace or confident, you never will be. So allow yourself to switch into the magician. Yeah, there's the king and the lover. These two we'll talk about some other day. They're very powerful as well. But just understand that you can switch into the magician and just allow it to be easy. Yeah, you need the right strategies. You can find them for people who can pay. Get the coaching program. If you can't afford it, no worries. We have 350 other YouTube videos here that are amazing. They're not as detailed, obviously, or nearly in-depth as a coaching program is, especially because you're not getting the individual help. But it's still an amazing starting point, I'm guaranteeing you. If you just go through these videos here, that'll help you a lot. But make a decision for it to be easy and to be self-validating. Imagine the Buddha was on a date. if you were to date. I don't know. Do Buddhas date? You'd hope they do, because otherwise they'll probably die out. So imagine the Buddha was on a date. How would he react? How would he be? Would there be anything the other person could say that would throw him off his game? If you're Christian, be Jesus. If you're Muslim, Muhammad. If you're Jewish, pardon me, I believe it's Jehovah. Don't know. Whatever spiritual figure, if you have one, how would that person act? Your ideal of a man. He wouldn't have to try to dominate somebody, fake, alpha, uber, blah, blah, blah. Nonsense, no. He'd be totally at peace within himself. And the other person says something, you might smile and say, oh, interesting. I see what you're doing. And it's a game, not of manipulation, but it's a dance. It's a mating dance, if you will. And if you see dating and relationships as a game, not you're trying to play games with her or she with you, but as a game of life, of procreation, of aliveness, of experience, it'll become so much easier. And you won't have to take it so serious, and you don't have to be so tense. So, here is my invitation for you. When there's moments of tension in your life where you feel like you're grasping, or she says something, you're getting a text, you're not getting, something is not going the way you want to in your dating life, somebody's not responding, the date is getting cancelled, or she's challenging you in any way, shape, or form, and you start to feel yourself emotionally reaching for validation, approval, or certainty externally, become aware, because awareness alone is curative. Just become aware of the fact that you're doing it and switch and make a decision and say, I will no longer be emotionally reactive to an outside circumstance or person or event. I will validate myself. I will draw a sense of certainty from within myself. That is what leadership ultimately is. Yes, you got to communicate a vision, but you also have to create certainty when there is none. If you run a business, that's what you do with employees. There can be challenges and you say, I will find a way or I'll make a way. 100%. Because it comes from the top. If you want to lead a family, then you have to be able to provide that certainty. And it comes from within. And the first step is to recognize, as Tony Robbins says, when you're in a state of suffering. And very specifically when it comes to dating, when you're emotionally reaching. When you find yourself doing that, refuse it. Say, I will no longer do that. And back yourself. Meditation can be an incredibly powerful tool. I'd encourage you to look up Jack Cornfield on YouTube. Jack Cornfield. He founded the Spirit Rock Meditation Center in California. I've meditated there with him and other people. He's probably one of the, in my opinion, the single best meditation teacher out there. There's a lot of people who are amazing. He is my absolute favorite. Jack Cornfield, guided meditation. He has a bunch on YouTube. Watch them, do them. A very powerful tool. And then you also need an environment of other quality men. That's what I do for my clients. But I would encourage you to get that locally as well. Get a group of quality men who really got this dating thing figured out, who are not being whipped in their relationships. Most people don't have this. Even most men who are crushing it in their career or their business don't actually have it. They either attract women they're not really that physically attracted to, but they're kind of nice, or physically attractive, but not really a stable and healthy personality or matching values. But find the ones who really do. Find the ones who are masculine. Find the ones who have good habits, gym-wise, health-wise, relationship-wise, who are growing, who are into personal development. Build a local network. Because global is not enough. If you live in the US, for example, and your male friends are spread across the US, that's great, that's fantastic, but it doesn't help because you need to see your friends on a weekly basis. Quality male friends ground you in reality. I guarantee you that if you go on a date a couple of hours after you spend several hours with your quality male friends, your performance will be better. Why? Because your need for love and connection is sufficiently met. Part of the reason you're so needy on these dates is because your need for love and connection isn't met. And you think, oh, finally, she'll be able to meet my need for love and connection. Finally, I won't be lonely anymore. You need to have a network locally or semi-locally of quality male friends. Warm, loving, good energy. Yes, if they're successful, that's amazing. And if they're ambitious and they're working hard and they have an absence of bad habits, that's all great. That's good. Nobody's perfect. But they should be working on themselves, But warm and loving energy is the most important thing. If you have that and you spend time with them, and ideally they're high testosterone and intelligent, that's amazing. You will feel fantastic. And simply by being around them, your brain releases oxytocin. Your brain releases dopamine and testosterone. It's true. And if you then even compete maybe in a healthy way, in the gym, you go meet women together, you talk business together, archery, karate, in my case, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is you happen to be into, all of a sudden, life becomes truly enjoyable. It's at your disposal. Let me remind you of this fact of life that you already know. In life, you get what you tolerate. And most men, what I found over the years, they simply tolerate subpar mental and emotional states. You've been used to not being fulfilled in your mental and your emotional life, in your relationship life. You've gotten used to not feeling alive and great and fulfilled. Let's go to the left here. You've simply gotten used to being single and around the wrong people. You've gotten used to not being fully happy. And by the way, there's no such thing as perfectly happy. Nobody is. But you're really settling below where you could be in terms of day-to-day levels of aliveness and happiness and joy. Do you know how much joy and happiness Fernanda brings to my life every single day? It's unbelievable. But in order to get somebody like her, I had to temporarily commit myself to the process. I know you just want the relationship, but in order to find a relationship, you temporarily have to go into the wizard and enjoy the dating process, even for X amount of months, be it 2 or 11 or 6 or 5. And then you'll be able to find somebody of true quality. Stop tolerating a lack of happiness. Aim higher. Les Brown says, most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit. Aim higher. Say this year, 2025. I choose to find the right girlfriend or wife. And if it's going to be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, that's fine. But write down what are your must-haves, your nice-to-haves, deal breakers. Get quality dates. Improve your communication skills. It's a real simple process. You will be able to do it. It's absolutely rewarding. And make sure that this year you put an emphasis on developing a local network of quality male friends. You can find 1 or 2 new best friends in the next 1 or 2 months. You just have to actually start talking to people and feel at home in the world. Do that. Switch into the wizard, where it's easy and effortless, while knowing that you always have the warrior as a backup mode inside of you. If you want me to help you with that personally, click the link. Apply for a free initial consultation. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.